Ya van días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days, and it's been weeks, and he has... What do you think, Sarah, of this canyon right here?
It's absolutely incredible. I haven't been to Tijuana in a lot of years, and seeing how wide open it is. I mean, I don't know if you could turn the camera around and show everyone just how wide open it is. It's incredible.
A couple of questions. No. Rashida, what is your opinion on the massive child trafficking that is happening? Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the basically fight for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! La Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores. Thank you so much for joining in. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Boys News in the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Thank you so much. God bless every single one of you. God bless our country of Mexico, our city of Tijuana, and God bless the United States of America. Let's thank God for giving us 2 legs, 2 arms, a mind that we can think, a heart that we can feel, and eyes that we can see. Thank you so much for every single one of you for joining the chat. Before we go on, a lot of you guys ask me every day, what can we do, Oscar? What can we do? And right now, I'm about to tell you, we can share this video, we can smash that like button, and we can click that like button on, hit that bell on YouTube, smash that like button on Facebook, and also like that button on Twitter. We need to share this video out, and ultimately, we need to share, and also hit that like button so we can increase our viewers, and ultimately, we can get this video out. So thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue. God bless every single one of you. This is a really important video, so I will do it meticulously, and I will explain what is going on. So on the weekend, this is what happened. I will put the video on the side. This is what happened, and it will play for people to understand what basically happened on the weekend. So this is how I'm going to explain it. To get doubts, to people to analyze, also to understand how migrant camps function and what is the aftermath and what are the complications, what are the good things about migrant camps, and what are the bad things of migrant camps. And that ultimately, it is a good thing for us to explain. Now, this is a migrant camp that it was located a year from now, and it was located in the part of El Chaparral border. El Chaparral border, it is an international port of entry into the United States of America. It is a pedestrian international port of entry into the United States of America. It is, it's established right there. Why established on this particular point? It established right there because a lot of the migrants went there one day. They asked for solutions for their cases to be attended. And there was a mass population at the time that it was waiting for the processes for asylum and refugee due to the stay in Mexico policy that it was implemented by the past president Donald Trump. So a mass population was there. They went one day. They protested against the authorities. And that particular day, you saw a lot of American activists. These American activists, what they do is they get there, they talk to the migrants, and they tell them, you know what, stay here. Also, you see that bridge right there. Across the bridge, there was a lawyer firm. This lawyer firm helps the migrants with their legal cases. We have talked about this lawyer group that has been involved with the asylum and refugee cases. This migrant camp was established right here at an international port of entry into the United States of America. It is a pedestrian port of entry. So, really important federal ground. It is really important. At that particular time, the pandemic was the first thing that closed this port of entry because of the huge spread of COVID. But after that, it got closed because of the migrant population that started to arriving. There's a lot of local businesses. I have done videos, and I invite to all our new audience that they haven't not seen our investigation to go to our playlist and to type, and to find videos as we talk to all local businesses around the area and also people that they lived around this neighborhood that is called Colonia Federal. A lot of businesses were affected by this migrant camp. A lot of businesses closed because of this migrant camp. A lot of people were affected by this migrant camp in terms to violence and in terms to just insecurity and unhealthy issues. I remind you, the first time that I met Miss Sarah Carter, a correspondent, really important journalist for Fox News. It was in Arizona. And she told me, Oscar, one day I want to go to Tijuana and see the migrant camp if it is safe. When I talked to her and when she came to Tijuana, it was not safe at all. It was not safe at all because you had also the threat that also there was a really violent group inside the migrant camp, which it was aggressive towards journalists. One of the journalists from Germany got pushed out with a knife in her stomach. Also, journalists have been attacked in the migrant camp because they did not want everybody to see how the operation was getting done. So I invite you to all you new watchers to go and see that interview that Miss Sarah Carter and myself we did to a person that lives in front. Right here, you see his house in front of the migrant camp. And he was explaining all the irregular and illegal things that they were happening inside of this camp. He was also explaining that the migrant activists from the United States of America are the ones that they're aiding and abetting this to continue because for them it was a business. Also, this gentleman that is a resident from there, he was explaining about the illegal activities which they were occurring as to prostitution, drug distribution, and also the sexual harassment towards migrant women, and also insecurity towards sexual harassment into migrant kids. This was a big thing. Miss Sarah Carter did this interview. She was shocked at the moment. Then Ben Berquam and myself from our network, America's Voice News, came over here and did the exact same interview. We interviewed this gentleman. This gentleman opened up about every irregular thing that it was going on. This is not the first time that this happens, people. There was a migrant camp and the first caravan that came to Tijuana in the last days of 2018. This migrant camp of 6,000 people They put them on a baseball field that it was called Benito Juarez. They camped out at a whole block that it was called Cinco de Mayo. And ultimately, not only that they were camping out there, there were a lot of American activists. These activists, as soon as they started decreasing the migrant camp and moving them to other shelters, which the American activists, they denied. They don't want people to go to shelters. They want them to stay there because it is an easy way to manage them and their cases to be heard and the ability for them to ultimately get a lot of profit out of this vulnerability that is the migrants. After they got removed on this first camp that I'm telling you, they moved them half a block away from where they were stationed. We were broadcasting every day from that specific place. The other shelter was called Contra Viento y Marea, which it was a warehouse. When they tried to remove the migrants, they gave them 3 weeks for them to get out. The migrants were, they were in a friendly way talking to the authorities, and they were saying, you know what, I will move. Where do you want me to move? But the ones that they were taking over the shelter and they took hostage the shelter were American activists, as people from Antifa were there, people from all radical organizations of activists of the United States of America. They were in that shelter taking hostage the shelter, and they had an encounter with federal agents from Mexico. After the federal government went in there, told them, you have 1 day or we are going to act. The next day, the activists left. From there on, there has been several American activists which they have been going to these camps. They have been actively getting the people. Their job is to help, quote unquote, and also get the people to this lawyer firm for them to get processed and for ultimately get their cases to be heard and, the asylum and refugee process to be attended. That is supposedly is the case of them, their job. That is their obligation of them. But this is what they cost. Today, you can call and you can go to this neighborhood and ask whatever citizen, and they will tell you about the American activists, what they have provoked. What happened right here? This is the famous shelter, the famous migrant camp that they occupied, not took hostage, occupied. Let me rephrase myself, occupied. This is a migrant camp that they occupied for more than a year. As soon as they occupied this space that is on federal grounds, a lot of irregular things started happening. At first, this migrant camp was of 2,500 people. 2,500 people. After this migrant camp, it was famous and it went viral with the Biden Let Us In shirts. These Biden Let Us In shirts were provided by a non-governmental organization named as Casa de Luz. Casa de Luz was the one that provided these shirts that said Biden Let Us In. They went to the international port of entry called San Isidro. They kneeled down and they manifested their inconformities, and also they were pleading to the United States authorities for them to be let in, as Biden just recently won the elections, and they were particularly telling them, please let us in, President Biden. This extended so long, a year, and ultimately you can see that the migrant camp started getting infiltrated with a lot of things. Bad people. Distribution of narcotics was one of the things that the government of Baja California and the municipal authorities already were investigating if they were distribution of narcotics inside of the migrant camp. Information came in and it was assertive. There was distribution of narcotics. Also, there were speculation of MS-13s inside of the migrant camp controlling. speculation was not a speculation also, and they confirmed that these gang members were inside of this migrant camp. Not only that, they were confirming that they were assaulting journalists outside. It was a group of people that they were dedicated to protect, in a way, the migrant camp, because not even the authority could go in there and control the migrant camp because of the humanitarian right in the Department of Human Rights. So all of this disorganization, it was uncontrollable. It got to a point that they were accusing also one of the leaders of these NGOs of sexual harassment, that he has two lawsuits against him for sexual harassment. And also not only that, ultimately there was more sexual harassment towards migrants. And not only that, the sexual harassment towards migrants, but also harassment towards the children. There was also a case of chicken pox inside of this migrant camp that started spreading. A lot of people started getting sick, and speculation of COVID cases inside of the camp. There was a lot of people that they were sick. People were arriving, and they were renting every space. Now, information, it is confirmed that they were paying 10 pesos per hour for electricity to charge their phones, that this has been in the works since I started coming in 2018 investigating these migrant camps. They started charging the migrants 10 pesos an hour to charge their phone. This happens also around places where they camp out. Also, they started charging for food. They started charging for their tents. This is not a rumor. This is confirmed by people that they live around the neighborhood. But the so-called people that they were protecting this migrant camp, they did not wanted you to see this, because if you see this, the migrant camp will be removed. And they do not want to be moved to a shelter, because they say that in a shelter, they charge you for food, they charge you for water, and they mistreat you. So they wanted to stay here. And the authorities said, enough is enough. The municipal mayor of Tijuana, Montserrat Caballero, said, you know what, I'm going to decrease. As soon as she came into government, she came into government and the shelter had 1,800 migrants. It was already decreased. But after that, she said, I'm going to lower it down. I'm going to go and invite people to leave and go to a shelter where they can be safer and the kids can be safer. So she went over there, and as you see, they have already gated the first compound. They gated the migrant camp because they did not want people to get out, and also people coming in that they were causing illegalities, and also activists that they were taking advantage of situations. So the migrants did not like that they gated the migrant camp. But the authority now and the government was the one that it was taking form and it was taking action. And it also now the authority, the municipal government, was the one that it was in charge. After a long time, it decreased to less than 500 migrants. And the municipal mayor said, I think that it's time. It's time for them to be removed. It's time for them to be removed. Why? Because ultimately, we need this port of pedestrian entry into the United States of America, because it provides economy. We need it because now everybody's essential, and they're crossing to the United States back and forth. And we already have one entrance of pedestrian on this port of entry, and it is clogged. So we need this to be fluent. Also, we need economy to be fluent, as the taxi drivers have lost their jobs. Businesses have been closed. So we need this economy to grow. Again, we need this place to become what it was before. So they clean it up, as I've been showing this video. It was amazing to be there, to just not only to share this with colleagues of journalists from Tijuana, but also to see how many things there were inside the migrant camp. There were stoves in there. It was just unbelievable. Everything that they had in there, it was like a little town. We arrived to the migrant camp around, around 4:50 in the morning. This is video from me arriving around 4:50, 4:30, 4:50 in the morning. We arrived at that time because the phone was ringing, and one of the journalists said, "Blue, where you at?" I'm like, I'm asleep. And they said, "Well, you need to get over here." And I said, "Why?" The migrant camp the migrants are going to be removed. I said, "You have to be kidding me." He said, "No, get over here." So I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I drove all the way to the migrant camp. And this is our video as we got there. This is the National Guard blocking the bridge of El Chaparral as they release a huge operation to remove the migrants. They had blockage on the east and on the west side of the bridge. As you see, National Guard right here, National Guard over there. It is not even comparable to what they do in Tapachula. As in Tapachula, they are more aggressive. They are, the National Guard pushes. The National Guard, it is more aggressive than this, small operation when it comes to the National Guard. But when it comes to the three levels of the government, everybody was there. Every single governmental office was there. Now, in the past video that I was showing, there was a guy in a loudspeaker saying to everybody, "Migrants, please leave at peace. At the place that you're going to be removed and relocated, they're going to give you legal advice. The lawyers are going to continue to attend your case. And also, not only that, they're going to attend your case, but ultimately, you're going to have food, you're going to have housing." This has happened before. I have recorded so many times where some of the migrants, they don't want to leave. It was not the case on this day. Every single one of them was listening. Every single one of them was getting into the buses, and they were moving peacefully. And when it comes, when I was in Tapachula in front of 10,000 people, if you guys remember, I advise you to watch our videos. Go to our playlist. When I was in Tapachula, in the middle of the parking lot of the stadium El Cafetaleros, in front of 10,000 people, where the leader of the Institute National of Immigration was at a loudspeaker telling every single one of them that they need to calm down and they need to have order. Even they were speaking in French. Why? Because a lot of the migrant population that was there was from Haiti, and they only know how to speak Criollo or French. So this kind of speaking on a loudspeaker has been in the works, has been a strategy of the Institute National Immigration and the government to how to handle the population and to tell them, move out, move out, move out. This is the way that we're going to handle it. So it's not only that, but I was also present in some other places where migrants refused to leave. And that was an actual fact. There was a lot of places where I was at. One of the places that I was located was the shelter Contra Viento y Marea, that they refused to leave. The last operation that it was like this, that the government went in there and removed all of the migrants, was in 2019, when they removed them from El Cinco de Mayo, and the migrants did not want to leave. There were actually some forcing, and they were actually not fighting, but in a way there was a push and shove with the authorities that they did not want to leave because they wanted to stay there. It has happened before, but this time it was peaceful. And in places, it has been aggressive. Migrants do not want to leave, and they say, we want to stay because this is the only way that we are going across. They told us. Who told you? And a lot of it goes to the American activists. The American activists go over there and tell them, you know what, stay here. Camp out here. No, this is the way that you got to do your process. Be here. This, and that. So their understanding is, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to camp out. I'm not going to move. This is the only way that we are going to do this. So for 1 year, this migrant camp was coexisting at this one of the most important international ports of entry, pedestrian ports of entry into the United States of America, that is called El Chaparral. Now, during that I was staying right there, this was around 4:50, 4:30, 4:40, 4:50 in the morning. A migrant came out of this of the migrant camp, and I catch an interview. And it is such an interesting interview as I catch this interview. Why I say that it's interesting? Because of how it all everything that developed and all the information that you get out of two people that they're walking out of this migrant camp. First, first and foremost, and let me just address this because there's actual activists that they were in the migrant camp that they were trying to help, and it is the reality. There was actual activists that they were trying to help, and organizations that they were doing God's work, that they were feeding the people, they were clothing the people, and they were actually helping out of God's work. There were actual activists that they were doing that. There are Hispanic activists also that they were, that they have a dual citizenship. They were born in the United States, but they live in Mexico and they're Mexican. They were actually helping, bringing clothing, helping a lot of stuff, and bringing a lot of things so the migrants can have a better life with all the intentions. They do it out of their kindness of their heart. Whatever happens after, they do not care. They say, I helped, I came and brought food, I came and brought this, I came and brought that. But they were non-governmental organizations and there are other activists that they have other intentions. And these activists, as I have said before, people, as I have said before many times, these activists and these organizations, they need to be audited. They are close to really vulnerable cases, as we have studied for more than 3 years now in a reporting in a journalistic way. We know how vulnerable these cases are. We have traveled with more than 8 to 9 caravans and walked with people that they are really in danger, that their cases are really legitimate cases of asylum. How can you have these people in a migrant camp with an activist that you don't even know his intentions or what they are trying to do, or in a way, what kind of way they're trying to help you? This, according to the women, that they have received a lot of sexual harassment in there, journalists that they were going in there to document, and it was a complete mess. Everybody was commenting about how it was a complete mess for journalists. They could not go in there and document because they had, oh no, this guy is trying to put us in a bad place. He's trying to say bad things about migrants. He's trying to do this. He's trying to do that. You never knew what the journalists were trying to do in a good way or his intentions. The authority is the government. It is not the activists. The authority is the Institute of National Immigration. It is not the activists. It was a federal ground, and that migrant camp should have never been existing. You have really good shelters in Tijuana with really good people. One of them is Pastor Banda. He's a really good guy. He's a really good person that actually helps and is in the Ambassadors of Jesus. He's almost to the west side of our city of Tijuana. Also, you have Pastor Alberto that he helps a lot in his migrant camp, and his migrant camp his migrant shelter has grown so much that he helps a lot. Also, el señor Chema also por Juventud 2000. He helps a lot of people. Tamay is another guy that helps a lot of the migrants that they were deported. You have a lot of people that they should be the base. They should have authority on how to handle these kind of situations because those people know how to handle migrants and how to handle those sensible cases. But you have all these other activists that they come over here and they disrupt the mechanism of these people that they have been helping migrants and deportees for a longest of time. So the American activists that they are, in the blindfold, they come over here, they disrupt. There has been evidence of them, distributing narcotics inside of a shelters. They have 2 activists have been caught trying to traffic a 12-year-old. There has been a lot of evidence towards this kind of situations. These cases are sensitive. They're not for people to just go in there and just say like, hey, I want to talk to you. No, these cases are of life and death. Some of them, they're economic migrants. And those migrants, they do not qualify. for asylum. This is an interview as I was standing outside. And these couple of migrants came out. Listen to what I asked them, and I will translate. And for people to understand how the caravans, how the effect that they have as soon as they leave the south border of Tapachula. Listen to this.
¿Qué tal? Ahorita, ¿qué está sucediendo ahí adentro?
Pues lo sacaron, que no lo quieren ver ahí.
Where are you from? I'm San Pedro Sula, Honduras. What is going on in there? Well, they kicked us out. They don't want us in there.
No nos quieren ver ahí.
No, que cada quien por su lado. No para un albergue.
¿Cuántas familias hay más o menos allá adentro en estos momentos?
Muchas.
How many families do you think that they are in there? You know, a lot of them. She's saying a lot of them.
Hay niños recién nacidos, hay gente, niños chiquitos.
There's newborn childs. There's kids that they're really. This is the thing. Like, you are removing a migrant shelter. If you're removing a migrant camp, you better be prepared to send these people to a correct place, because there's kids that they were just recently born. They're newborn. So you better be prepared. The government of Baja California better be prepared. But listen to what this conversation starts going somewhere that I was really interested on this.
Se dice que hay alrededor de 300 personas, son más de 300. ¿Y ahora dónde van a ir?
There's the rumor that it's 300 people, and they say, no, there's more. No, so now where are you going to go? We don't know where we're going to go, and we don't want to go to a shelter, because in the shelter they're asking for money, they're taxing us.
Las autoridades los trataron bien ahorita.
The authorities, they treated you good?
En el desalojo, ahorita en la reubicación.
Yeah, right now, yes, because there's nothing going on. You know, they treated us good. I'm asking this because some authorities, they use abuse of authority, and I have seen it. And it is not pandering to the left, to the right. I don't care about left and right. I don't care about no political party. I am saying the truth. Some authorities in Mexico, and it has been a reality towards Mexicans also, the authorities in Mexico, they use their abuse of power. They also do that. So I'm asking this question, if the authorities treated them correctly for them to leave the premises, and they say, yes, they left. They treat us correctly.
Dije que van a sacar a todo el mundo porque nadie va a quererse ahí, porque nadie tiene para dónde irse.
Pero imagínense, si nadie se quieren exponer la gente, y nosotros y los niños que están, ellos los que van a arriesgarse.
Y hay fuerza por parte de los migrantes que no se quieren mover.
La verdad que hay muchos que dicen que no se van a mover.
Is there access by the migrants that they want to move, or they're being, they're being a little bit stubborn that they don't want to move? They say, no, they want to move, but they already told us that they're going to stay here, that they're not going to move from here.
Nadie quiere moverse porque nadie tiene para dónde irse. Si luego nosotros venimos de nuestro país migrantes porque no tenemos para dónde irse.
Nobody wants to move because, if we're migrating from another place, it means that we don't have another home. So that's the reason why we're migrating. Before I go, Buy Me a Coffee is on the top link. If you guys like to contribute to our independent reporting and broadcasting, Buy Me a Coffee is on the top link. Also, we are going to be traveling soon, so it's for our travel fund also. So thank you so much for your contributions. They're much needed as we are independent.
Ustedes que han llegado también a ofrecerles albergue en lugares, ¿no?
There's a lot of people that they have come over here and ask you for shelter, and immediately the response is, yeah, but why we want a shelter? They ask us for money for anything, for everything. They ask us for money for water, they ask us for money for food. There's another journalist right here with me as the interview goes on. And I particularly asked this question as she is turning towards me. And I asked this question because I traveled with the caravans, and I was, curious of her travels. And I was curious from where she was coming from. And this is what she said. Did you guys enter from the south part of Tapachula? The part that I have broadcast so many times that is the Suchete River. And then she says, yes. Did you guys come in a caravan? And she says, yes, I came in the caravan of October. Do you guys remember? I was in that caravan of October. And the caravan of the 23rd of October, I was traveling, and I traveled not only not even myself, but not only that, but Allie Bradley, also journalist, Miss Allie Bradley, was traveling with me. So we traveled more than 13 days with the caravan. In specifically covering the 23rd of a caravan, that it was more than almost 6,000 people. And that caravan, it was led by Irineo Mujica. Also, there was pro-migrant activists and defenders of humanitarian rights like Luis Villagran. All of these people were in this caravan. So this is a migrant that was traveling with the caravan of the 23rd of October, that I was walking also with that caravan. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but she says, yes, I was in that caravan.
23 de octubre de
Sí,
Irineo
cuando
Mujica.
fue, también vinieron aquí, vinieron y hicieron toda la...
¿Te fuiste a la Ciudad de México y de ahí te transportaste para acá?
Sí.
Sí, yo
You went to Ciudad de Mexico after, and then you moved all the way to over here to Tijuana?
estuve en la caravana del 23
I was there in the caravan of the 23rd of October. I walked with you guys.
de octubre con ustedes.
Yo ahí
Caminaron por
estuve.
13
Estaba embarazada de
municipios.
mis dos gemelos. Y me
At that time, I was pregnant of my twins. I had twins and I was pregnant. Look at this. I had twins and I was pregnant. Wow. And she was walking in the caravan. For people, this is for people that they were particularly asking when I was live over there. When I was live over there, people were saying there's no pregnant women. There's no pregnant women walking. There was no pregnant women. And even I showed you a migrant from Haiti that she was walking the whole time and people were not even believing it. I'm like, I'm showing you the video. No, she's catching a ride, Oscar. I'm showing you a video. We have been walking for 2 hours and she's still walking. So this is clear evidence, comparable evidence for people that don't understand how many. There was a lot of pregnant women. That caravan was the caravan of the children. That's how the leaders was describing that caravan. So she says at that particular time when I was walking, I was pregnant with my twins. She had twins, and this is what she says after.
regresé, ¿sabe por qué? Porque ver situaciones como estábamos aquí, yo me tuve que ir porque estaba embarazada de dos niños. Me fui para Tapachula y dejé niño a mi mamá.
So I came over here to Tijuana, and then after I saw the precarious situations right here at this migrant camp, I returned to Tapachula, and I gave birth in Tapachula with my mom. I returned to Tapachula because there was no solution right here for me.
Y de la Ciudad de México te transportaste a Tijuana o te fuiste a otra
Y me
frontera.
vine otra vez para acá.
But I said, you're fast forwarding too much. But from Ciudad de Mexico, you took yourself to Tijuana, or what do you do?
Para ver si me tiré por...
So this is when she says, no, I crossed illegally through the parts of Monterrey, which is the part of Monterrey del Rio, Texas. So by this, she's telling me that she crossed in an irregular way to from Del Rio, Texas, that is the river that everybody knows in the world now, the opening of Del Rio, Texas. She says, I crossed through that particular place. If she crossed through that particular place, she crossed when she was pregnant. So she says this, I crossed through Del Rio, Texas. And then what happened?
Por Monterrey, pero la verdad que otra vez, así como me tiré, así me volvieron otra vez para acá.
As I crossed through Monterrey, that is this one of the states in our country of Mexico. She said, as I crossed in a regular way through the United States, as the same way they threw me back over here.
Río.
No, para aquí, Tijuana.
You crossed through the river.
No, me lo
No,
tiraron.
pero te cruzaste primero por el río.
No, but I'm asking, did you cross through the river? And the river is Del Rio, Texas.
Con mis hijos.
Yes, with my kids. I crossed with my kids, at this particular time. So this is how important information gets out, and you put pieces of the puzzle together. So you had also migrants that they were traveling on the caravan. You had migrants also that were traveling on the caravan. A lot of pregnant women, they were on that caravan. A lot of people did not believe how many pregnant women. It was the caravan that had more pregnant women and that ultimately had more women with kids. It was really amazing of how it had that migrant camp, how it grew, how that migrant caravan, how it grew with time. So this today we arrived to the migrant camp early in the morning, as it already had been cleaned, it's already been polished. As you know, people are starting to ask, when is the port of entry going to be open? When is this going to come back to normal? When is this going to be done? So we arrived today around 5:30 in the morning. We arrived to the caravan. I had a hit with Real America's Boys News in the morning. So, with Mr. Terrence and Miss Jessica at 6:05. So I had to be there early. And I took some video. And the authorities were saying who has control now of the well-known migrant camp that is not a migrant camp anymore, and it is the National Guard with authorities. This is the way that it looks from outside. I came in early where they had an operation, and at the time that they had an operation, they would not let me in because they were cleaning. As you see right here on the back, they were cleaning. So as they were cleaning, I asked one of the officers, "Can you let me in?" And they said, "No, they're disinfecting, Oscar. So you're going to get, we don't want nobody to get sick." There was a lot of infections there, and there was, a lot of people got sick on this migrant camp. So who has control of the migrant camp? A lot of people are asking this question. And before I move on with this question of who's controlling and who now controls this area and how do they have it all protected, it is the National Guard and the authorities of Mexico. The National Guard has already established themselves, and we took video of this today as the National Guard was there. This is an actual video of us showing how a National Guard official, it is standing right there in the middle of the plaza where before it was a camp and you had houses. You see a National Guard official right here standing. So now, because a lot of the population in around the neighborhood, they were a little bit worried that migrants will come back again and they will camp out right this particular spot. And as you guys see, there is National Guards there, and there's an authority, municipal police on the other side. So it is now protected by National Guard officials and also by agents of the municipal police. Now, let me just say you this. A lot of people are commentating, and I shouldn't be, I should explain this how it is happening. A lot of people are commentating and speculating of where the migrants are going. Why? Because you have seen buses in El Paso, Texas, with people arriving. You have seen airplanes with a lot of males being flown into your country, all across your country. So when they started seeing that migrants were being moved on buses, immediately people started saying they're being moved to the United States of America. And I said, no, they're not. No, they're not being moved to the United States of America. They say, no, Oscar, yes, they are. They're being flown. It is a total different thing. This is how speculations and how bad information gets to one to another to another. So you're basically now the assumption that a lot of people have is that these migrants are going to be bussed into the United States of America. No, they're not. They were moved to 3 particular shelters in our city of Tijuana. 146 of them were already relocated correctly into shelters. The other half, they are relocating them into shelters of their comfort or where they feel secure and they want to stay. They are awaiting a process to be heard in the United States courts of immigration to see if they are going to be admitted or admissible to their case to be heard as a refugee or asylum. They were not bussed into the United States of America. Believe me, if they wouldn't done that, the whole press would have been there. So it was not that current situation. It is 2 different things of what is happening in the United States and what is happening in Mexico. Let's not get misinformation and speculations that this is, they're busing them in from Mexico. They're using buses to bus them into the United States. That is a complete lie. They're moving them and relocating them into other parts of Tijuana, that there are shelters. Now, we have a lot of shelters, and all the shelters are surpassed. And right now, we are having a huge problem with resources. Let's not forget that Joe Biden did not comply with his word as what he said, that he was going to create a better pathway for migrants. He was the same backstabbing man that exactly what Obama did. Barack Obama, that it was the head chief deporter that deported more than 5 million Latinos and Mexicans. Then the other administration came in, that it was the Trump administration, which it was really strict with immigration, and that he put ultimately the stay in Mexico policy, which now is a lot of backlash with migrants that they have been awaiting, and that the door opened with Joe Biden, and now everybody is entering in an irregular way in some cases, in a lot of cases in an irregular way, through non-port of entries like Del Rio, Texas, like La Joya, Texas, like the whole Texas area, like Yuma, Arizona, and all these places that they're entering in an irregular way. Let's not confuse one thing with another. They're relocating them in Tijuana. There's not a relocation in other parts, and taking them to the United States of America. So people to understand, this supposed migrant camp that is not a migrant camp anymore, possibly is going to reopen in the next incoming weeks. This port of exit and port of entry, pedestrian port of exit and port of entry, is going to be possibly reopen in the next incoming weeks. The next incoming weeks, this is going to, again, flow an economy that is much needed for tourism. Businesses are going to be open, and possibly, you're going to see cab drivers and all this stuff going on. Now, and when I was there, I encountered the man that I interviewed with Miss Sarah Carter at that particular time. He said that he was really happy that this has already been dissolved, and that ultimately there was a lot of good people in the migrant camp, but there was a lot of bad people also. And that was a disorganization of the authority not getting in there, not arranging the things that they needed to arrange, not taking authority of how they needed to get authority, and ultimately letting bad activists, because not all activists from the United States of America are bad. They're good activists also. They're good activists that I have met, that they come with good intentions. But some of them, they are in a blacklist in the United States of America. And you have these people that they're close to migrants. These people should not be, first and foremost, there was an essential and a non-essential crossing, and these people, they're coming back and forth to our country, first and foremost. Second of all, you're really close to really vulnerable cases and people. Third of all, you have an activist that was sexually harassing other migrants, and he has 2 legal lawsuits against him for sexually harassing migrants. So there was an uncontrollable factor. There needs to be an authority always. There needs to be an authority always. Always there needs to be an authority. And the authority needs to be at this particular camps. They cannot be NGOs. It got out of hand. There's always it got out of hand. That guy is distributing. That guy is doing this. That's why you have an authority. You cannot let, violent situations concur on a daily basis and keep on happening without having a law, a order. There needs to be always law and order. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. A lot of people that they're joining in. I'm a bilingual reporter and broadcaster from Tijuana, Mexico. I live in Tijuana, Mexico. I'm a Mexican citizen. I'm proud to be Mexican. I was born in Tijuana, Mexico. So for people that they're asking, this happened in the United States. Yes, I live over here, and I broadcast in English and I broadcast in Spanish. So for people that are joining in, thank you for joining in. Thank you for sharing. Hit that like button, people. Hit that like button. Hit that bell in YouTube as you guys are watching right now. We are going to touch another topic right here. And before I go, buy me a coffee is on the top link. If you guys like to contribute to our travel fund, it's going to help us a lot. So thank you so much for people that are watching this. It is continuing in Tapachula. This is what is happening right now in Tapachula as migrants are protesting outside of a plaza. It is the central plaza of Tapachula. Thank you so much, Alva, for the coffees. Thank you so much, Kayla, for the coffees. Thank you so much. Migrants have been buying chains and they have been protesting outside of the central plaza, Benito Juarez Plaza. We have been in this plaza for several times. And migrants have been protesting in terms to the lack of attention that they have been receiving from the Institute National of Immigration and also authorities for them to be released, as Tapachula has become the prison of migrants. And now we are seeing the migrants are taking the decision. There was a hunger strike a couple of days ago, and now there is this protest that they're tying themselves into, with chains to make people, understand that that there is a really big problem in Tapachula in regards to the attention towards migrants. There is a huge problem in Tapachula. A lot of people don't understand that. There is a humongous problem in Tapachula. In the last census that it was done by the Comar, the Commission of Refugees, 103,000 migrants, they were stranded in Tapachula without moving. How you're not going to have a catastrophe and chaos with no migrants there, don't have no job, and you're giving them access to come into Mexico, but you're clogging them into one city where they cannot provide economy, they cannot provide food, they cannot provide anything. So you're creating chaos on top of chaos. Why do you want to do that? So that is a really horrible situation which has been happening for years now in the city of Tapachula. This protest was held. There was a few migrants that they were practically right there protesting and manifesting themselves against the leader of the new director of immigration, that her name is Paola Lopez Rodas. They were protesting against her, saying, you know what, you're not providing, you're not giving us the access to leave. And ultimately it catch some fire, and it catch some attention from the Mexican media and also Mexican people, that they were saying, why you guys didn't do that in your country, protested like that. Remember that the migrants' intentions, some of them, it is to move out and to go work to other places in Mexico, but ultimately their number one intention is to go to the United States of America. So they don't want to be here. They don't want to stay here. They want to go to the United States of America. But in the meantime, it's a lot of chaos in some parts of the border. There's lack of attention. There's lack of food. There's lack of water. And ultimately, there is the lack of understanding of what is happening towards them. So this is provoked by our own government of Mexico. Our own government of Mexico has been aiding and abetting this to continue. If you sign a global compact of migration, and if you knew the responsibilities of attending a migrant population, now not from Central America, from the world, you should know that you should be prepared. And our president of Mexico has done a horrible job on this. Horrible job. Not only migrants are in the harm's way of cartel members smuggling, and all of it that you guys have seen, has migrants have died trying to go all the way to the north, and accidents and catastrophic accidents and behind the tractor trailer, and continuous smuggling and continuous rapes and continuous extortion towards migrants. This is a humongous business for the organized crime. There is a lot of money in smuggling of individuals. There's a lot of money on trafficking of drugs. There's a lot of money on trafficking of children. And this is a factor that is continuing. So this protest was held in south of the border in Tapachula. Remember, we are going to be traveling soon to the south border, and also ultimately much more into Central America. I'm live in the live audio. For people that are joining in on Facebook, in the live audio, if you guys want to be a part of this live feed, if you guys want to be a part and talk to me for a couple of minutes, I will open the chat right now in the live audio. There's a request button all the way to the bottom. There's a little hand right there on the bottom. You guys can push that little hand, and we can talk about whatever topic you want to talk about. Topic of today is the migrant camp, that it was cleaned up in our city of Tijuana, and also the crisis that is a humanitarian crisis that is occurring Also the children that they are being trafficked. So if you guys want to talk to me, there is a little hand on the bottom in the live audio. Press that little hand and you can participate in the live feed. And I can bring you on and we can talk for a minute or so. And I can listen to your questions and I can listen to your comments. And ultimately we can, talk about different topics. So I have the live audio. I have people listening. If you guys are in Facebook and you're watching me from Facebook, get out of the chat on Facebook. Get out of the live feed on Facebook. And if you guys want to join me in the live audio or come in and talk to me in the live audio, you can come, get out of the live feed on Facebook, and then you will see a little group on the top that says live audio group. I'm right there live. And if you guys want to request to join in and talk to me, it's real simple. I will just accept your invitation, resend it to you, and you will accept it, and we can talk for a minute or so. So this is the whole, the situation as being handled right now in terms to what is occurring in the south border, turns to what is happening right now in the migrant camp. That is a huge problem. Migrant camps are becoming to be a problem for the community himself, and it is not the way. It is not the way to handle these sensitive cases. There needs to be a way for people to be accommodated into places where they feel safe, and ultimately their cases are going to be heard to say you're not eligible or you're eligible, and these are the options that you have. If you're not eligible, you can stay in Mexico, and these are places that you can travel yourself, and there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of opportunity or growth for you, your family, or you can go back to your country. There's this other option, this other way, that is the return on the voluntary return, that you can also volunteer to return yourself back to your country. So you got these three options. If you're not eligible, or you're eligible, they will tell you you need to stay in the shelter, you need to live here for a certain amount of time, you need to behave yourself, and you need to do this. Ultimately, this is the process for you to basically wait for your asylum and refugee process. The problem is, people, that the Biden administration, it is a complete disaster. Even leaders of the caravan themselves, they have said this. Biden doesn't know what he's doing. One day he says that he wants to help the world. The other day he wants to implement the stay in Mexico policy. One day he wants to implement the stay in Mexico policy. The other day he opens up the stay in Mexico policy and it has a lot of loopholes. The other day he closes the loopholes. The other day he sends Kamala Harris to Guatemala and says, do not come. The other day he speaks about creating a better pathway for migrants. The other day he says, that it's not a good time for you to come. It is a really unstable president. Really unstable president. The United States, it is going. Thank you so much, Almira, that has joined as a member and buy me a coffee. Thank you so much. You can join also as a member and buy me a coffee. It is really unstable times right now in the country of the United States of America. Really unstable times. In terms to, critical race theory, in terms to the race division that exists, in terms to, the failed policies that they're implementing right now, in terms to how the leftists are being extremely radical with their ideologies of Marxism, communism, that it does not work. Thank you so much, Texas Carrie. Thank you so much for the coffees. You can contribute right there on the top. There's a link. So I'm live at the live audio. People want to join in. I have a bunch of people in the live audio. If you guys are listening in the live audio chat in Facebook, there's a little request button in the bottom. If you guys want to talk to me, you guys want to ask a question. This is why I create the live audios, people. It's for you to go in there and ask me a question, or for you to go in there and participate in the live chat, so we can talk to each other and I can listen to you guys. So let me see there's there's a question right here. Oscar, did you see the migrants leaving? If so, did you notice how many children were in the group? Yes, I saw some migrants leaving, and I didn't see how many children. If you're talking about specifically the migrant camp, you can join the chat. You can press the request button in the bottom, and we can talk to each other on a live audio chat right here. So thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News. Thank you so much. The topic of today, the migrant camp. I will be live tomorrow with the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I will be live. There's a request from a person right here. Her name is Alba Rodriguez. She wants to come in. Alba, I send you the invitation. You got the invitation, and I will wait for you to come in if you want to chat with me right here on the live audio. So I will be live tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning at the Wendy Bell Radio Network. If you guys want to join in, Wendy Bell Radio Network, I will be live tomorrow morning. We got Alba on the live chat. Hola, Alba. How you doing?
Hi, Oscar. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So thank you for joining in. If I remember clearly, you're calling in from Texas or Arizona?
No. South Carolina.
South Carolina. Yes, all the way South Carolina. Me perdí. So, what do you want to talk to us about today, Alba?
I agree with you 100% of I think government should do better than what they do. Because to take care of so many people, and like you say, all of them have different problems. A lot of them need to come here for help. Other ones don't need it. They just want to come to do whatever they want to do. So, yeah, but, I'm being in United States alone, and all the offices over here from government, they are screwed. The DAS is no good. IRS is a problem. The unemployment office is a problem. Everything is a problem over here. And government don't fix, to speak and help people of what they need. I don't know. The system is really screwed.
Do you think that the United States, because this is going to be a problem in the United States at a long term of how they're going to maintain so many people, because some of them are not eligible to work immediately. So how they're going to maintain them? Do you think that this on the long term is going to affect U.S. citizens?
Yeah, it's going to be, because a lot of people who come in here, what they're going to do? And if they're going to send people to court for whatever, because they're crossing illegal, and the court is full packed, they have to wait for months and days and months, people are going to disappear. They don't going to do what they're supposed to do. It's really hard. And I feel for the kids, because let me tell you, I'm working in the school. I'm a housekeeper. And I see kids, little kids, I'm working in the elemental. And I see a couple of Spanish kids, different time, and then I don't see any more. And I'm thinking, okay, they are here this month, next month, and then what happened? And I can ask no question to them, because, I don't supposed to. But, I see a lot of stuff, and I feel for the kids, because they suffering, and they need like a be stable in a place so they can grow up like everybody. It's really hard. I feel for the kids.
This is a really curious thing that your observation as kids are coming in and kids are coming out. You are watching kids from all across like different countries, or you just watching different kids from the United States?
No, I'm watching kids from South America.
Oh wow!
Because when they come here, they don't know English, so they need help. So they pull them to teach them some English, and I see them back and forth, and then in a couple of months I don't see them. Where they I think they move them out to another area with another family or friends.
Wow. Do you see a lot of Catholic charities and all that kind of stuff picking the kids up or not?
No, I'm not involved on that, because South Carolina is different. They trying to help, but I don't know how they do over here.
Hmm.
I know when I was in New Jersey, yes, in New Jersey, a lot of churches help people and whatever, but in South Carolina, where I am, is different.
Well,
because everything is money too. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Some churches do it because they really have the money, and some churches do it because they need the government money. So it's different.
The grants, the federal grants. Well, thank you so much, Alba, for calling in. Thank you so much.
Okay, let me say something.
Yes.
A lot of people knew on this live feed, and I was gonna say I've been following Oscar a long time. You guys can go and check his page back way to see the job he do, because really they're working hard to give you the right information.
Thank you so much, Alba. I appreciate that so much. God bless your dear heart.
Take care. Bye.
Go as a caller on the live audio, and there's a lot of sensitive situation in terms to when it comes to the Catholic charities. I don't want to get into that specifically because it's a really sensitive topic. The only thing that I can tell you this, there's a lot of people that they have been investigating Catholic charities in the United States of America. When it comes to Mexico, I will tell you this: it is like an NGO. A Catholic charity, it is like an NGO. And I will tell you this: Catholic charities, if they want to help, there's Catholic charities that they do with the kindness of their heart and they just want to help. But there's Catholic charities that, like caller right here said, Alva, that they want the federal grants in the United States of America. And there's a lot of money. It's a lot of money if you bring a lot of children. There's a lot of money if you bring this kind of necessities into the table and into the church. And when it comes to Mexico, the Catholic charities, they don't have that much money. So they only help with, I don't know, oatmeal to feed the people, a little bit of clothing. And they depend a lot on what, other people give them so they can basically help. Ultimately, they ask for help for the government. But our government, it is so corrupt. It is extremely corrupt. Then when they get the amount of money that they need that they are going to get to support a cause like, I don't know, a migrant caravan, they get only possibly 10 to 15% of what they were going to get. So it is a whole different ballgame. When it comes to the Catholic charities in the United States of America, there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of misunderstanding of how the Catholic charities need to be more transparent of what they're doing. This is not just you helping. There needs to be, and I have said this before so many times, they need to audit every NGO. Law and order needs to be implemented on every NGO. They need to audit what are their intentions, what is their foundation, what are they doing, where are they getting their money, how are they investing their money, how much they're investing on every social worker. They need to audit every NGO. There needs to be authority. Now NGOs is getting out of hand. Right before it was just like, they're helping, they're this, they're that, they're this, they're that. Now it is immigration phenomenon. It is a world phenomenon. It is a humanitarian crisis. So now everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon of creating an NGO, of helping or doing this, doing that. It is okay if your limitations and if your if your full possibilities and your understanding is to help, it is okay. Nobody is going to deny you that right. But ultimately, there needs to be audits for these NGOs, as for lawyer firms, as for people that they are participating in a humanitarian, in a humanitarian help, in a humanitarian job, in a humanitarian way, in a humanitarian group. What is your intentions? Where are you getting your funds? How are you implementing this? What is your full understanding of what is the whole immigration, if it comes to immigration phenomena, if it comes to unaccompanied minors, if it comes to children? There needs to be a audit to understand, for people to not be speculating, for their reputation to not be signalized, for their reputation to not be in a way to not create it a bad reputation for them. Let's be clear and let's be transparent. What are you doing? And if you're clear and you're transparent of what are you doing, showing particularly where the children, where they're going, this is how much I'm investing, this is what am I doing, this is where we're getting the money, this is what our intentions are. There shouldn't be no problem on people and speculations, and ultimately press going over there and saying, hey, what are you doing over here? It looks like you're aiding and abetting this to continue. What is the problem with this? Why are you not socially reporting this, and why we don't have the right to ask you? Why we don't have the right to ask you what you're doing? So Catholic charities create a lot of uncertainty because it is the religion, Catholic. So it's just it has that little line that you say, oh, they're Catholic, they just want to help. They're people that are dedicated to the religion and la la la. And this other line that is getting misunderstanding and misconception. And that it needs to be clarified. We're right here in the middle. You're creating a lot of uncertainty. And there's a lot of uncertainty that it leads to really bad things and good things. So it needs to be, that's why I have said so many times, NGOs, they need to be audited. There needs to be an audit every time. How many workers do you have? Do you have a work permit? What kind of papers do you have for this to this and this and that? Are you capable? Are you socially capable? Are you capable to handle this kind of job? Because we're talking about people. We're not talking about an assembly line and a warehouse. We're talking about people. We're talking about children. We're talking about women, men. These are people. You don't play around with cases. This is not a challenge. These are people. Take it serious as it is. These are unaccompanied minors that they're running away from fear, and they're alone, and they have been trafficked, and some of them they have been abused in their homes and in another foreign country. So the transition needs to be correct. From you making the population understand what they're doing, being transparent, and ultimately not treating people like it's a product. I'm not saying this about the Catholic charities. I'm saying about NGOs. They're not a product. They're people. They're migrants. And if they're not migrants, and if you don't want to categorize them in that particular, that particular significance, if you don't want to categorize them, don't categorize them like that. They're human beings. It is not a business. This is the number one thing. Audits all the time. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue. We're going an hour and 13 minutes. Thank you so much. I'm going to close the live audio in the live audio chat group. Thank you so much for joining in. God bless you all. Stay safe. We'll see each other next time. So we are going to continue right here in our live video right here. We're live at Facebook. We're live at YouTube. And we're live at Twitter. Thank you so much. You can follow me at Facebook, Getter, YouTube, Telegram, and Twitter as Oscar L. Blue. Tomorrow, I will be live at 7 o'clock in the morning. I believe so. If the memory does not fail me, let me just confirm right here. So I will just confirm at what time. Where are you, Wendy? Right here. It is 10:30 a.m. East Coast time, so it is going to be 7:30 West Coast time. So 10:30 East Coast time, I will be live with Wendy Bell Radio Network. I am a correspondent for the Wendy Bell Radio Network. We are going to talk about what we talked about today, but we are going to be at the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So thank you so much for joining this show. God bless you all. Download the app Wendy Bell Radio Network. You can go to the App Store and just easily download it. Also, you can follow America's Voice News, the voice of the people. Follow there. We are at every platform. Also, follow the Captain Ben Berquam Follow my partner, Real Anthony Agüero. Follow all journalists that they are giving you legitimate and transparent information. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, peace and love, because always your country's first. God bless.
Y ya van días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days and it's been weeks, and What do you think, Sarah, this canyon right here?
It's absolutely incredible. I haven't been to Tijuana in a lot of years, and seeing how wide open it is. I mean, I don't know if you could turn the camera around and show everyone just how wide open it is. It's incredible.
Couple of questions. So. Ms. Rashida, what is your opinion on the massive child trafficking that is happening? Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the best, basically fight for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! La Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.